Earlier today, we ended up getting a little bit of an update to the Call of Duty World War II beta, including a level cap increase up to 35, which gave us a handful of different things, including the M1928, or the Thompson, as you may know it as. And of course, with this, we ended up getting some cool new features to play around with. We didn't get an additional map or anything like that, so really it's more so just on the smaller scale of some of the things that are playable and new. But one thing that you might or might not notice that was a huge change up was the sprint out time that finally got adjusted here within this update to the World War II beta, and this was a much needed change that I'm incredibly glad did get adjusted. Now, for those of you guys that have no idea what sprint out time is a basic definition of it is that it's the amount of time that it takes your gun to come up to aiming down sight after you end up sprinting. So as you can imagine, this is a very important property to have as a part of your gameplay, whether or not you know about it too much consciously or not. This is something that really affects the SMG classifications, sometimes the assault rifles, shotguns for sure, snipers a little bit, Lmgs a little bit, but overall, basically, if you end up running and you come into an engagement with an enemy, the sprint out time is crucial. But that said, it was adjusted here across the board, or at least for the majority of across the board, most of which were a little bit of a slight buff. We see one instance of a little bit of a nerf and one that does not change at all. Now, a huge shout out to my good buddy, the Exclusive Ace. He actually broke this down, and I'll leave his link down in the description below. He's super technical with these, breaks it down perfectly and in a way that is easy to understand, and his hand testing of it was phenomenal. So the numbers that you'll see showcased here right now are from his showcase and courtesy of him. But that said, make sure you go check him out. His links are in the description below. But let's start out with the SMGs, perhaps the biggest ones that people will notice in terms of the effectiveness of this, how much it was affected overall from the previous sprint out time. Now, before, the sprint out time was 0.267 seconds, but now it is afterwards this patch is 0.217, a change of 50 milliseconds. So pretty nice here, and actually one of the biggest changes that also equal to the LMGs, but we'll get there in a second. The assault rifles had a time before this patch of 0.300 seconds and after of 0.284, so a change of 16 milliseconds. The LMGs once again had another one of the biggest buffs to it, in which the sprint out time before the patch was a 0.350 seconds and after was a 0.300, again another change of 50 milliseconds. Now, shotguns were the ones that were not touched at all here at this. Before, they were a 0.284 seconds, and after they were again a 0.284. And statistically, before the patch, these actually were the best weapons with sprint out times. So as you can probably imagine, running into all those trenches with different shotgunners, the frustration of continually running into them and getting killed by them is of course understandable when you look at it in this sense. Now, the snipers actually were the ones that did not get a buff at all, but instead got a little bit of a nerf. Before, the sprint out time was a 0.300 seconds, and afterwards they were a 0.400 seconds. So once again, a little bit of a nerf here that doesn't necessarily change too much about a sniping playstyle, but simply if you were to run out of a sprint and no-scope somebody, that's the only time in which you'd end up having a bit of a noticeable difference here out of it. It doesn't affect quick scoping or anything like that, so if you're a sniper, don't worry, that's not something that is going to be on the table for some things that are nerfed at the moment. Again, maybe Vonderhaar comes out of nowhere and nerfs the DSR for everybody, but for the time being, snipers are relatively unaffected, except for, once again, if you rush out of a sprint and try and no-scope somebody immediately thereafter. But all in all, I think this was probably one of the biggest changes that was needed, aside from maybe, say, Gibraltar's spawn logic. I've been pushing for that one too, but I guess we'll see in time if that happens. But nonetheless, the sprint out time, in all seriousness, was a huge thing that really took away from some of the rushing gameplays, some of the just gameplay in general, in terms of getting caught sprinting, which is something that happens in every Call of Duty, but because of the sprint out times, it happened on a much grander scale, and of course was something that it rendered some features useless. Quick draw on SMGs was rendered useless because of the sprint out times, and you basically had to, if you knew somebody was in your general vicinity, strafe with your hip fire, but not in a sprinting manner. So taking things a lot slower and a lot more cautiously, which really detracted from some people's gameplay. Now, Of course, this may or may not affect you overall or how you play. Perhaps you're one that sits back and lets people come to you. Perhaps you're not the type that rushes 100% of the time, but it is something that is a core portion of the gameplay that was changed about. So that said, I want to let you guys know about it, give you guys a little bit of an update here on this because I talked about it in a couple of videos, I think a couple of days ago, but that said, it's been changed. It's nice now to see this and other things coming throughout this weekend of the beta and into the full launch. So that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Did you guys notice the sprint out time and what it affected with your playstyle, and are you glad that it was changed? Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below, but if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Call of Duty World War II. We're going to be killing it for the rest of the beta, and of course, leading up to the full launch of the game, we got you covered with everything you could possibly imagine. So if any of that interests you, make sure you guys stick it right here up on the channel, hit subscribe so you don't miss a beat. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that is the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said, now out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.